Hello, brothers and sisters. May the good Lord be with you as we continue to study His Word. We are still going to continue on the subject of healing. Remember, last time we spoke about King Ezekiel, how he got sick, and how God healed him. Not only was he healed, but he was blessed, and more years to his life were added. Today, we are going to talk about King Asa. King Asa was a king of Judah. In general, his leadership was long and blessed, for he loved and saved God. But he started to crumble in his old age. Basically, he wasn't saving God or calling upon God when he needed help in his old age. To know more about King Asa, read 1 Kings 15, starting from verse 9, and 2 Chronicles chapter 14. King Asa's father was called King Abijah. King Abijah was an evil king, an idol worshipper, a paganism. He was indeed a very evil king that didn't help Judah or God's people in worshiping God. But his son, King Asa, was opposite. He loved and saved God. So when he came into rulership, he got rid of all the pagan and idol worship his father had set up. This is how much King Asa loved God. He didn't look at it that this was my father who set up these things. Let me respect my father. No. He loved and respected God more than anything. He even removed his own grandmother from queenship, for she wasn't saving God. And she also helped, before King Asa's rulership, she also helped in this pagan and idol worshipping. So King Asa removed her from the queenship position. There was a time when Ethiopians came to fight Judah. King Asa called upon God for help. He cried to God, he prayed, he called upon God. And of course, God delivered them. They won against the Ethiopian army. But King Asa, like I said earlier, his faith wasn't always solid in his old age. He started to fall off from the path of righteousness. There are Bible heroes like Moses, Gideon, King David, and so forth. If you notice, these Bible heroes, their faith at first in God was shaking. But when they saw God's power, their faith in God got solid. King Asa was opposite. His faith was solid in the beginning, but in the end, he started to fall away from God. I do not understand why King Asa did that, why he started to fall away from God after serving God for so many years, and then he started to fall away in his old age. Sad indeed. Maybe it was to do with him being comfortable. Maybe it was to do with him thinking that God was always going to be with him no matter what. So he got too comfortable, stopped saving, stopped asking God for anything. In his old age, King Asa got feet disease. Remember, we said healing comes from God. King Asa did not call upon God for healing. Instead, he went the other way. He started to look for other medicines, for foreign medicines, for healing. He forgot all about God's protection and how God delivered them and how God protected them against an Ethiopian army. As a result of this sickness, as a result of not calling upon God, King Asa later died of this foot disease. Yes, brothers and sisters, there are times some people have wondered, I've called upon my grandmother, upon my child, upon this and that person to God. How come the person did not make it? The ways of the Lord are not the ways of men. If it is our time to be called home, if it is our time for us to go, God knows the best. There is a reason for everything. But we should never at any point stop relying or calling upon God. God is our everything. Right now is the time to call upon God, brothers and sisters. Let us never give up upon God, especially where there are pestilences, where there's this COVID, where there's cancer, where there are different calamities, diseases, and problems, and where Jesus is soon coming. Let us always call upon God for healing, for anything. God has blessed us with money, with opportunities, with friends, with family. Let us not use all these things, all these people, all these opportunities as a way of our salvation. Let us not use them as our crutch. Let us not relying on a human being. Let us not relying on money. Sometimes God takes away these things so that we can lean more in Him, so that we can be saved. Brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that the healing comes from God. If King Asa had called upon God's healing, if King Asa, a king who was solid in God, a king who started off very well in the name of the Lord, if he had called upon God when he got that foot disease, we would have been talking a different story about King Asa today. But he didn't call upon God and ended up with foot infirmity. May the good Lord be with you, brothers and sisters, and let us always to remember to call upon God no matter the situation.